Okay, Libra, you guys are up. This is your general reading for December 2019. As always, it's a general reading, so not everything may apply to you, or things may apply differently to different people, and you can always check your rising sign video and your moon sign video, and you can always schedule an individual reading with me by clicking the link to my calendar. Okay, let's see. What do we have going on for Libra in December 2019? Hi, Edwina. Thanks for watching. I'm just about to get started on Libra. Libra rising. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for watching. Awesome, awesome. Libra rising. I love that you guys watch your sun sign videos, moon sign videos, rising sign videos. And I don't know if you ever do this or not, but you can watch like videos. Oh, Eric is a Libra. Sweet. I was just going to say this too. I love it. You're always right on point, Edwina. I was just about to say you can always watch videos of people who you know their sun sign for, or their rising or their moon sign or whatever, and just get a little insight into the people that you know and maybe what they're going through or whatever is going on. So I love that. I love that. Awesome. Okay, Libras. I always have to realize, you know, when I'm live, like, do I say this? I'll go ahead and say it because typically that's usually my policy. Is to just go ahead and say something. But consider, you know, always consider. This is a lesson from Libra here, right? Like a spontaneous lesson from Libra that I was not planning on having happen, but it's coming through thanks to Edwina. My comment, okay, I'll get to my comment in a minute, that I withheld for a minute, right? Here's the thing with Libra. Libra's the scales. They're about balance. They're about, you know, like keeping the peace, right? So when you said that Eric's a Libra, I had this thought come up, right? And I'm thinking to myself, for a split second, I thought, do I say this out loud right now because I'm live? Or do I wait and tell you later? And then it hit me like, you know, this is very a Libra energy, you know, like Libra's about balance and keeping the peace and keeping everyone happy to a large degree, right? And so I was experiencing this Libra moment of, do I say this or not? It's not a bad thing, but, you know, it's really nice to be able to, you know, take that pause, take that minute and be like, what I'm thinking and feeling right now, like what could possibly be the impact of me saying it? And is it worth it? And is this the right context to be saying it, or the right time to be saying it? Or is there a better way I could say it? So, you know, consider the delivery, consider the reception and all of that. Like, not to the point of codependence, right? Where you're completely changing yourself, but finding that balance between honoring your truth and what you know and speaking your truth, but also honoring the other person as well and their potential privacy or, you know, whatever their situation may be. And here's the thing, it's not even a bad thing, so I'll go ahead and say it. But this is the whole process that got me to it. So it's very interesting. Thank you, Edwina, for this whole amazing Libra moment. And when you said Eric is a Libra, so you're watching, my first thought was, now I get, like, I totally can see, like, how you guys are good for each other. And I love that. That's a good thing. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So there you go. I love that. I love that for you guys. Okay, Libras. Let's get into Libra. What's going on for Libra? I need to move these. These just aren't feeling right. So maybe patience. I don't know. Maybe patience is something that's coming up for Libra, which probably isn't that hard, other than sometimes there may be a tendency to wait too long for certain things. That's what it is. Libras can tend to become indecisive at times, right? Because they're really so good at seeing everyone's perspective and going through that whole process. Like words, right? This is so magical. I love this, how this whole thing, everything that happens in a reading is part of the reading. And so even you watching it, Rena, and having that whole like Libra moment of that comment and everything, I think is part of what this message is, where, you know, Libras are so good at all of this, you know, finding balance, like tending to everyone sort of thing. But so especially during the holidays, I feel like one huge message for Libras is to remember that, yes, it's very noble of you to consider everyone's perspective. It's very compassionate for you to consider everyone's perspective, everyone's feelings, everyone's everything else, but not to the point of codependency, not to the point where you're losing yourself and not considering your own thoughts or opinions or whatever. Not to the point where you're you know, no longer even in the picture, really, right? There we go. Now the cards are starting to shuffle. So that was definitely meaningful. Okay, maybe one more. Yep, and not to the point of indecisiveness, right? Okay, here we go. Got it. Libra. Dun, dun, dun. King of Rods. Nice. So at the center of whatever you guys have going on in December, Libras, is related to accomplishments for you, like a business accomplishment, a work accomplishment, and maybe even also a spiritual accomplishment on some level. Oh, sweet. New physical beginning. And there you are, the Libra card, the Justice, the Scales, finding balance, right? So this is going to be a huge accomplishment for you to also be finding a balance in your work. It's a huge accomplishment for you to be finding balance in your spirituality. So this is the big thing. So when it comes to your work and your spirituality, we'll start with spirituality because that was stronger. When it comes to your spirituality and the holidays and family and everything that's going on, this is a reminder for you to not lose yourself in what everyone else has going on, right? And in their holidays and whatever they're celebrating and all of these things, right? You can still, you know, love people who may have a different spirituality than you. You can still participate with them, engage with them, love them, whatever, and be loved by all of them if you have like a different religion or spirituality. And so finding balance between, like, that conversation that just came up at the very beginning feels very much like how you're going to be maneuvering through December, right? So like seeing a situation and finding the balance of when to say something or when to not say something, but also honor your own truth, you know, so considering the timing, considering the context and all of that, and not losing yourself in the moment. So finding the balance between your spirituality and other people's, or whatever's going on at work as well. And so this is kind of a new beginning for you, maneuvering this in new ways. It creates a new physical way of maneuvering through things by including your own self in the whole everyone's perspective. You're part of the everyone. And it's a huge accomplishment for you as well. It makes everything else feel better. So that's really cool. It's not always easy, but it's really awesome. So I feel like that's going to have a lot to do with December. And you're totally protected in doing this, right? So speaking up when you feel you really need to, and in a kind and compassionate and, generative way, you have like support in doing this. It can be scary, but you're supported in doing it. And it creates like forward motion for you and the other people that you're engaging with here. Okay, let's get some more. Yeah, you don't have to carry the whole burden. And when you do carry the whole burden, you don't get the outcome that you wanted anyways. It can lead to resentment, right? When you withhold your own truth in order to make other people happy, then it breeds resentment. And you just feel extra burdened. And then like you get this outcome that you weren't really planning on having. So what you put into a situation is what you get out of it. And so make sure you put yourself into the situation as well. And it doesn't have to be a fight or a battle, because there's nothing here yet anyways in the cards showing that there's conflict or argument or any of that. But I know that that's the fear that you have when you're wanting to speak your piece, your truth, your part, include yourself in everyone's perspectives. There's that fear of conflict or judgment or rejection or whatever, right? And none of that's really showing up, but I know that that's the underlying fear. So you don't have to carry the whole burden and deal with everyone's shit and just shut your mouth and keep your peace. You don't have to do that, right? But I know that that's kind of the fear that underlies that pattern, right? So make sure you include yourself and consider the timing and the context of when when and how you engage in ways. But you absolutely are part of everyone, right? This whole situation. So you can include yourself in that as well. This is also a new emotional beginning for you to be able to do this, at least in this current situation, and it's very karmically timed. So something about making sure that you speak up for yourself as well and include your likes and interests and dislikes and preferences and opinions and all of these things, and being able to have them and in maybe the same setting as someone else's who may be different and both coexist peacefully. Like the timing of this is very karmic, and it's like time to find balance between all of this, right? All right, other energies operating in the situation. Okay, so there's like a need for rest. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so some of this, it may also be coming up in romantic relationships. And it can, so here's the thing. I know that it's probably going to scare you for it to come up in a relationship, but the whole point of this is karmically timed right for this kind of thing to be coming up in romantic relationships with you. And it can lead to a new beginning, a new emotional beginning for you in your romantic relationship, to include yourself and not take on too much burden. And by burden for Libra, what I mean is like only considering the other person and not considering your own thoughts and feelings and needs and wants and opinions and all of that stuff. So to be able to coexist when you have different thoughts, feelings, opinions, beliefs, emotions, whatever, can actually deepen your connection with another person, even though I know your fear is that it would create separation. And again, it depends on like how you handle all of this stuff, and how the other person, receives it as well too. But I get that that's the underlying fear, and it doesn't have to be. This is all showing like beautiful, amazing things. It's showing deeper connection with loved ones. It's showing things coming full circle. It's showing that you have a need for rest, because sometimes you do have a tendency to take on more of the burden or everyone else's problems. And then you reap what you sow when you do that, which in essence becomes resentment. So you don't want resentment anymore. You want deeper connection. Okay, yep, yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Ooh, too much. Okay, hold on. So, um, there's a need for rest, right? And while you're resting, there's a need to get in touch with your own thoughts, feelings, emotions, opinions, and whatever while you're in your resting phase, right? Because at some point, this may happen probably frequently throughout your lives for Libras because it's just a very Libra concept. I mean, it happens to everybody at times. Um, but when you are so concerned about balancing a situation or keeping the peace or whatever, you're taking on everyone else's, thoughts, feelings, emotions, opinions, whatever, and carrying that burden, it really requires a period of rest. But during that rest, you need to tap into your own of those things because there's a tendency to lose yourself, which then breeds resentment in situations, and that's over, right? Like this is so much not what you're wanting anymore. And in order to not have that anymore, you have to do something different, which means connect with yourself, connect with your own everything, that I just listed: thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs, opinions, everything. So connect with those during your resting time. And then there's something that may need to be let go of. And it's going to, because it's a general reading, it's going to manifest differently for different people. But during that time, when you're connecting with yourself, you're getting more clear on yourself, right? There's something that may need to be let go of. It could be a thought, it could be a feeling, an emotion, a physical thing, a pattern, it could be anything, right? But you'll know what it is as you connect with yourself during this rest time. You'll know what it is. And it could also be a boundary, right? You may need to reconsider a boundary that you've set with somebody, and so maybe relaxing a boundary in some way, in order to allow for the potential of that connection to happen. The boundary may need to be lifted, and again, only you know your situation the best right now. So as long as it's safe for you to kind of ease up on a boundary, which might be, being able to actually be in the same room as another person or have a conversation with another person without it being threatening or, unsafe in some way. And in order to allow the differences to coexist, that might actually happen. Or, for some of you, it could be that you need to set a boundary or whatever. But communication is what's so key here. And so I feel like it's probably more so a lightening of a boundary. And you don't even have to completely get rid of the boundary, but loosen it enough to where communication can happen. So, but the communication starts with you during your rest time and you getting clear on your own stuff so that you can present your authentic self to that person. And in a kind way, right? And in a way that allows them to be their self too, without judgment or rejection or anything. And so this also, okay, this is another thing too. So sorry, it's so fast. Okay, so communication also, like the way you communicate, like I just said, but also the way you receive communication, and not just from other people, but like from all of your surroundings. So if you're watching the news and it stresses you out, then maybe that needs a boundary, right? Because in order for you to get in touch with yourself and then present your authentic self to another person, in order to form a deeper connection with that person, like you need to be mindful of what you are taking in on an intellectual level. So like your diet is not just food you eat, but like your mental diet, right? So the things that you're listening to, the things that you're hearing, the things that you're thinking and ruminating on, all of those things that may be stressful or getting you fired up or upset or adding to the resent or the anger or whatever it is, like none of that stuff is the effective part in creating connection with another person. And so that is also what needs to be let go of, right? So letting go of participating in the things that stimulate your intellect in a negative way, letting go of those things in order to create an opportunity for communication and connection with another person. Wow. God, this is like a lot. I feel kind of like, sorry, y'all. But I think that's it. Okay, let's grab a romance card. Sometimes this comes like a freaking blast of a fire hose, and I can only hear and listen so fast. Oh, goodness. Okay. Romance card for Libra. Woo! Alrighty, let's see if I can find that one without knocking over the Christmas tree. Oh, this is funny. Edwina, you're gonna laugh, I think. Okay, so romance card is unrequited love. No joke, I'm not teasing, right? Like proof. I think, I can't remember for sure because it was yesterday. And as I do these readings, like it just comes and happens so fast that for the most part, I don't usually remember what I've said. It just comes out, and this is, why it's posted and recorded and all of that. But I kind of think Cancer might have had the same card yesterday. Maybe go back and look. Unrequited love. So there's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. Now, again, this is a general reading, so it's going to manifest differently for different people. In that, it doesn't mean completely that... okay, so for some people, maybe it's not the right match, right? And for some people, it's the right match, but the timing is like that so many things are going on that love is not the first thing on the... I was right, it was the same as Cancer. Holy crap. Very interesting. So it doesn't mean that so not in every case does it mean that this is not the right match between the two people. It's just that at the moment, that's not either the thing that you are focused on or that the other person is focused on right now. That love is not like the number one priority right now for December for one or the other of the two people in the relationship. And it could just be that so much is going on, right? And so, again, like this is showing this need for connection and wanting to connect and all of this stuff. And like this... wow, everything just went completely silent. I don't know if that's ever happened before. So one or the other person may, in a relationship, may not, whether it's Libra or their partner or the person they're interested in, love is probably not the number one priority for the month of December because they either have so many other things going on or so many people around, or, if either Libra or the other person may feel like there's so much that love is spread so thin right now. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's the end. It's just a phase for some. And so love is kind of like feeling, neglected in some way. But again, that also speaks to this need for rest and for you to connect, Libras, to what you're feeling and what you're thinking and what you're needing and wanting and all of these things, because that's ultimately what's going to help you reconnect to love and the person that you're interested in or with. And you guys are going to have to communicate, and you're going to have to include yourself in the picture as well, because once again, when you're carrying all of the burden and only considering the other person and not considering yourself, you're not showing yourself to the other person. And so they can only love what you show them, And if you show them a part of you that's not true or authentic, then they may be loving a part of you that you know you're faking, and that's why you may feel unloved as well. So again, you have to show your authentic true self in order to authentically truly feel loved. All right, we're good there. Okay, so 72 Names of God card. Stop fatal attraction. This card always makes me laugh. I don't know why. It's not funny. Okay. I am the high priest in the temple of my own being. Through the power of this name, my soul is imbued with divine energy and evil people are banished from my presence, right? Okay, so again, like this makes me feel like, again, from the beginning of the reading, where it may be difficult to be in the same room as another person, and like either releasing a boundary with that person or whatever, but the idea of, or, you know, setting a boundary with another person as well. Oh, I love that. I'm getting a phone call from a Libra right now. Shout out to D-Love. I'll call you back. That's awesome. So, okay, so back to the beginning of the reading where there was this feeling of having difficulty being in the same room with another person and having maybe a strict boundary of how you interact with them or whatever, but also still sort of wanting connection, right? So for Stop Fatal Attraction, right, this card, I am the high priest in the temple of my own being. Through the power of this name, my soul is imbued with divine energy and evil people are banished from my presence. So connecting with who you are is going to energetically put out that, and communicating it as well, is going to put out that whole energy and information like through the matrix, right? To where things just, timing kind of is on your side, right? So if people are, you know, going to holiday gatherings or whatever, the timing may be that you both have to go to this one place, but you end up there at different times. And it's just easier in situations like that. But be clear on what your boundaries are and what your needs are, and be able to communicate that without the fear of rejection or anything, because there's not a single card in here that shows an argument or a fight or anything like that, right? The only thing is, you know, the unrequited love, which is actually, in this case, I feel very strongly that it's more just like feeling unloved by somebody. Not that you are unloved, but you're feeling that way, and that probably has to do with how you're showing up and who you're showing them that you are, and it may not completely be authentic, because we all know that if you show somebody something, an aspect of yourself, and they love that, and you know that that's not who you truly are, you're not going to feel loved, right? So I feel like some of that is at play here. I really want to do this, and I think Cancer is the only sign I did this for before so far. But I feel very much like doing an inspiration card here as well. So we'll add that. So interesting. I love that I got a phone call from a Libra during the Libra reading. See, this life is magical, right? No matter what is going on, life is truly magical when you tap into your own authenticity and, you know, what Greg Braden refers to as the divine matrix, which is actually like scientifically proven to be the Higgs boson field, by the way. My little nerdiness is coming out. Okay. Oh my God, right? Magic. What am I telling you guys? I freaking love doing these readings for you guys. Reconnect to your source of being. What did I just say? In your rest time. When you're inspired, and this is Wayne Dyer's cards, and Wayne Dyer says inspired means in spirit. Okay, so when you're inspired, you reconnect to your source of being. You go beyond the world of limitations and enter a space of creative knowing. As you move into a state of inspiration by feeling connected to a great purpose or an extraordinary project, you surrender, right? So again, like having to put down the burdens and stop having that experience of resentment or whatever because you're taking on so much. Like you can just surrender and allow things, allow people to be who they are, allow yourself to be who you are, include everybody in the picture, not just them, but include yourself into it as well. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Okay. Think thoughts that are in spirit. When you think thoughts that are in spirit, they reflect a vibrational alignment that moves you in the right direction. Again, like in the right direction and timing and all of this stuff. So if there's somebody that you don't want to be in the same room with, like connecting with yourself and your needs and your wants and your feelings and all of these things, and then also being able to communicate it, is also going to like vibrationally make it so where either you're going to have to communicate it, or if you don't, then it's just naturally going to magically happen that you guys show up at different times, right? Easy, right? In flow, in spirit. Okay, so when you think thoughts that are in spirit, they reflect a vibrational alignment that moves you in the right direction. But if you begin observing your thoughts and realize that you're going in the wrong direction, you can, with conscious effort, make a U-turn with new thoughts. And that's exactly what I was talking about here with, you know, this is like what I call your mind, your mindset card. So the things like your mental diet, the things that you're taking in, if they're stressing you out or pissing you off or getting you fired up or whatever, that's the thing to let go of, right? This is the U-turn that you make with new thoughts. All right. There you go, Libra. I am very kind of proud of you guys for December. It's gonna be worth it. All of the work is definitely worth it. So there you have it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am so grateful for all of you, and I will see you soon.